Well, I am excited about today's review because it is a brand new product. This product was just released from Breskardr. It is a night vision system. This night vision system is going to be mounted onto your regular scope that's on your firearm. Normally you can only use it in the daytime. With this system, you'll be able to turn your daytime scope into a night vision scope. It's going to have infrared and it's allow you to see at night through your scope. And it also has a camera, and this camera is going to be recording whatever you see through your scope. So this sounds very promising. Let's get to the unboxing and see how well this works. So this is the Breskardr night vision system. It is Wi-Fi enabled. There are two models listed here in the front of the box. I have the 2.4 inch WG90. This model, I'm not even sure if it's quite on the market yet, but it probably will be soon. I'm opening this up for the first time. Inside the box is a hard case. Very nicely packaged hard case. Has a zipper front here. Opening this up for the first time. Looks like we have the instructions are tucked up here. We'll probably be needing those later. Here are two different scope mounts. A carrying case, or carrying strap I should say, for our hard case. Off to the side here are two more scope mounts, so I got a total of 4 different size scope mounts. We'll get into that I'm sure a little bit later. Looks like a video cable. This looks like a USB cable. Here is the actual unit. Looks like this is their LCD screen here. And here's where the night vision emitter will submit IR. Over here is a camera. It has some settings, buttons. And it comes included with an SD card, micro SD card. It is a 32 gig micro SD card. It came with this. Over here, looks like 3 different mounts for the front of your scope for 3 different size scopes. Well, like I had mentioned, this is a brand new product. I have never used anything even remotely like this before, but what I could gather is you get the correct size mount here for the top of your scope, and this is going to sit on top of your scope. You're going to have a screen that you're going to look at. This will emit the IR at night, so you can see, and then actually right on your scope through your eyepiece, this camera is going to attach. It's going to be mounted with this mount. This will slip onto your eyepiece, so you'll no longer be able to see through your scope, but instead you'll be looking at this screen that's mounted on top. But this camera is going to pick up that IR that's emitted at night, and you should be able to see exactly what's going on through your daytime scope and the pitch black. So the next step is to put this to work. I'm going to mount this on some firearms. You're supposed to be able to record daytime and nighttime, so I'm going to do both of those, see what kind of quality it looks like, see how easy it is to mount, see if all the options, different sizes here are going to fit on the scopes that I have. So I am going to put this to the test and see how well this actually works. It's the Breskardr night vision system. So now let's get into the fun part. Let's actually mount this system onto my rifle. I did do a safety check here, and it is absolutely clear and safe to work on. So that's a number 1 step. We're going to be mounting the viewer and the IR illuminator onto the scope. We're also going to be mounting the camera portion of the system right into the eyepiece of the scope. All the components are here. We shouldn't need too many tools. Let's get right into it. The first step is to find the appropriate scope mount. They include 4 different sizes. It's a little bit of trial and error, but you simply want to select the right size. It's going to be corresponding to the diameter on your scope. You take out the thumb screw and simply slip that over your scope. Once you have it, you want to have it in a vertical position. You can get your thumb screw started, but you don't want to make that tight yet because this is where the viewer also mounts. We do have the viewer here you have to orient that correctly. You want the screen facing towards the back of the scope here, obviously. Next step is to, well, looks like we're going to have to take this mount back out. The next step is to slip that into the corresponding slot and simply tighten the thumb screw back up. That seems very sturdy, mounted correctly. The next step is to mount the camera through the back of your eyepiece on your scope. To do that, they include 3 different scope mount options for different diameter scopes. Again, this is a little bit of trial and error. This is supposed to fit pretty tight onto your scope, and then each one of these 3, the opposite end, the lens should fit with the camera right into that end. And again, that's pretty snug. But I think this is going to be the right diameter. We're going to simply slip that on there and push it until it's mounted securely. This mount should fit scopes up to 50 millimeter according to the directions. But if none of the sizes seem to fit correctly, you can heat this up. It says put it in boiling water, but I'm guessing maybe a heat gun or a hair dryer would also work. You just want to get this rubber more pliable so you can slip it onto your scope. This did fit on there pretty nicely. Next, we're ready to mount the camera into the other end of this eyepiece adapter. The camera, you want to orient the correct way. Should be pretty self-explanatory, but we'll push that on there. I'm sure we'll have to do some fine-tuning with that once we've powered this thing up. Next, we're going to deal with the batteries. So this system does take 2 18650 rechargeable included with this kit, so you're gonna have to buy these separately. If I remember, I'll put a link down in the descriptions of the ones I bought. Pretty self-explanatory. There's a lot of them out there. I did have to get a screwdriver here to take the cap off the top. We'll simply drop these batteries down in there and the corresponding polarity and put that cover back on the top. Have those rechargeable batteries all buttoned up there. We should be ready to plug the power cord into the camera. So let's go ahead and wrap this around here a time or two. We'll open up the back cover here. First, we want to hook the audio video cable up to the corresponding spot, and finally the power button. So we have these cables hooked up to the corresponding locations here on the actual camera portion of this. We should be ready to power this thing up and see if it works. For that, we're going to press the power button here on the camera, and we do have action on the screen. I'm not sure how well the camera's picking this up. So we powered this thing up, and I can see already in the screen that this camera is a little bit lopsided, and I can tell that because the reticles in the scope are not level. You're simply going to want to twist this until you have a perfectly level field of view through the camera. So let's go ahead and adjust that now. So there we go. We just simply twisted that camera. It is a pretty sturdy mount, and I don't think it's easily going to move, but you can grab it and twist it, and you want your crosshairs to be exactly centered in the camera. This is going to allow you to be able to shoot without readjusting your scope at all. It's advertised that you simply mount this, and what you would have seen with your eye through the eyepiece, the camera's now seeing. So you're going to be looking at the screen. You simply want those crosshairs centered in the scope. The next step is to bring everything into focus, and to do that they have a nice focus adjustment here right on top of the camera. Again, you're going to adjust this until the crosshairs become clear in your viewer here. So you simply watch the viewer. You can adjust that focus ring until everything's nice and clear. You should be good to go. So there we go, got the focus, seems like it's right. Very, very simple process. Literally just took a minute or so here to mount this. And again, it could be dismounted just as easy, but we're ready to test this thing out. Let's set up some targets, take a couple shots, see what the video looks like, through the recorder. You can take video or pictures. We're going to be taking video here. It's in the daytime. Don't worry, we're going to be testing out the IR and see if this does turn my regular daytime scope into a night vision scope. We're going to be testing that, but first let's take a couple shots in the daytime. So there we go, that was fun. I hit my targets. That was big time pressure on me. I didn't want to miss on camera. I was able to take a couple shots there through a couple extra downrange just to see what it would look like on the video. I have yet to see it, of course, but you did. So hopefully the quality's there. My scope seemed to be right on. I didn't do any adjustments and I was able to hit the targets at approximately 50 yards. This is a 4-power scope for your reference. Next step is to wait till dark, and then we're going to do the same experiment. This is where the system should really shine. We can use the night IR to light up at night. We should be able to see through the scope at night using this system. So we're going to wait till dark and do this all over again with new targets. So here is the night test. You can see my 2 targets there. If I adjust the night vision, I can turn it down, or I can brighten the screen back up. That's at max IR. There's the lowest setting. Turn that back up. Let's take a couple shots and see if we can hit these targets at night. So there was 2 shots, 2 hits. Now let's scan on up to the opposite hillside there. I have a target set up right there. That's about 200 yards away, and you can just so see the reflective tacks that I have in my cardboard box target. That shows up, but not real clear. Now I have a supplemental IR flashlight mounted here. I'm going to turn that on. Look how much clearer the picture becomes then. So using a supplemental IR can really enhance this camera system, and you can easily see that now. Down here is where my targets were. That opposite hillside is 200 yards away. This is with the supplemental IR light. This is without it. Let's take a couple shots at that target.
So next, I want to show you some of the key features of this system, and the physical operation of it, what these knobs do. There's several buttons back here. For that, the instructions can be extremely handy. I found these to be pretty detailed and fairly accurate. So this is a good thing to have because some of these buttons have multi-functions. One button can do several different things depending if you just press it or you long hold it. But let's get into the options and the details here. I'm going to bring you in a little bit closer. So here we are looking directly at the back of the unit. We have our power cord coming in here. We have our audio video cable coming. Both of those come from the viewer unit. You have to have them plugged in. Here is your micro SD port. It comes with a micro SD card. And here would be a USB port if you would choose to hook it directly up to your computer for any updates or to view your files if you do not want to remove the card. The first thing we can do is just power it up by pressing the center button. You should be able to see there the screen lighting up and giving us a display. Some things I want to show you up here on the screen is the two knobs. This right knob is your brightness for your LCD screen. As you can see there, as you turn that, it definitely brightens the screen, or you can dull it. That can come important in the bright sunlight. You definitely want to brighten that up so you can get a good view, or at night you're probably going to want to turn that down so it doesn't blow you out or be too bright. The knob on the left here is for your night vision. When you're in the night vision mode, this controls how bright your IR illuminator is. So the more you turn this up, the brighter it's going to shine at night. You have full control with this knob, and that is only in the night vision mode. Next, let's drop down here to, we have a 3-position slide switch here, and it has icons listed above it. On the left side is picture mode, if you just want to be taking pictures with your camera. If you slide it to the center, that's a video mode. That's going to allow your camera to take video. And finally, over to the right there is a time-lapse mode. It's the icon looks like a clock, and that would be, you could do a time-lapse there. Next, I wanted to demonstrate how to go into the menu. You press and hold this left up key. I'm not sure if you can see there, but the menu pops up on your screen. From there, you can just use the up-down keys to jump through the menu. You can choose your video size, the length of your time lapse. You can put a date stamp on your photos or videos. You can choose your photo resolutions, your time and date, format your memory card, enter your Wi-Fi password information. A wide variety of things accessible through the menu button. So the next key is over here on the right hand side is the down key. If you press and hold that, that's going to switch the camera from daytime mode to night vision. If this were at night, the IR illuminator now is on in the front of the display here, and you can control the brightness with this knob at this point. Like I said, this is for your night vision, and this is how you switch between night mode or daytime, is pressing and holding this right key. The last thing I wanted to touch on is the Wi-Fi. This unit is Wi-Fi enabled. To turn the Wi-Fi on, you press and hold both keys at the same time. The right hand keys here, you press and hold them until the Wi-Fi is displayed up on your screen. At that point, you can connect this unit to your smartphone. So at this point, you can open up your Wi-Fi app, your BestGuarder Wi-Fi app. Once you go through the initial setup for the first time, it's very easy. You can click on the camera here, it connects to Wi-Fi, and you now will get a live feed of exactly what the camera is seeing. At this point, you're able to go into the settings for the camera. You can absolutely change any one of the settings that I just showed you in the menu, from video size to the time and date. All kinds of options, every option actually that the camera offers. I find it easier to change the settings right here on my smartphone rather than through the menu on the camera. I find this Wi-Fi option extremely handy, not only to set up the camera and to go through the settings, but you can take your video or picture, switch between the modes. Right there at the bottom of the screen, at any time you can start recording. You can record exactly what the camera is seeing, and it gives another option to save the video to your smartphone this way. This is also handy if you have a buddy hunting with you. You can be watching the viewer up on the camera and the system. Your buddy can be linked in here with the Wi-Fi, can be separated from you from a distance, maybe 10, 20 yards, and still can connect and see exactly what you're seeing. It becomes very handy. This Wi-Fi option only adds to the value of this product. So as you can see, this unit has a ton of features. The Wi-Fi option I really like. One last thing I wanted to touch on is a USB port up here. If you do not want to power your camera with those two 18650 rechargeable batteries, or if you want an even longer battery life, if you want to use the night IR for an extended period of time, This port allows you to plug in an external power port. You do not need any batteries at all, and you can power this unit with an external power pack. It takes a USB Type-C cable. None of this is included, but if you have this or can buy this separately, you can use a power pack to power your unit for longer periods of time, and it will last longer than what just those 2 batteries are. So that's another great option, and you can simply plug that into this port right here on the side of the viewer. It is time for my final thoughts. I had an absolute blast testing this unit. It did everything as advertised. It was very easy to mount. It was actually easier than what I thought. I was afraid it was going to be a little bit more complicated with all these pieces and parts, but like I said, it really was easy, and it easily goes on and off your rifle. I found the camera to be true. You don't have to readjust your scope once it's mounted. I was happy to see that my accuracy was still there, and I didn't have to mess with that. Be able to take daytime or nighttime videos. That was very handy. I liked seeing the action, be able to record exactly what you're shooting at, whether it be animals or your target. The night vision worked well. You aren't going to see out there 200-300 yards, but out to 100 yards or maybe a little bit more. I was able to see with this. I was able to test this unit at night at several different distances. It will work out to the advertised specs that are on the box there. One thing I do want to mention is if you have an external IR illuminator, like an IR flashlight, you can really bring this unit to life. If I use an external illuminator in conjunction with the nighttime IR that this unit offers, you can get a lot better performance, and actually the videos turn out even better. So that would be an option if you would want to mount another external IR source. That could give you a whole different range and a longer range than what this unit itself would do. So keep that in mind. That would be another option for you. I found the unit easy to operate. The menu system was pretty intuitive. I was easily able to go through that. The Wi-Fi option, I really like that. Actually, I found myself using that a lot. This 2.4-inch screen you can easily see, and it's clear enough. You can make out exactly what your target is. But if you want to use a smartphone or a tablet that has the app capabilities, that can really bring you a larger screen, and especially if you're going to be doing bench shooting or setting up in a fixed location, that extra screen can be very handy all through using the Wi-Fi option. You can also change your settings, as I mentioned, with that Wi-Fi option. I use that every time I want to change any of the settings. It's just easier for me to access those settings through the smartphone rather than going through the menu on the display screen here. So one con that I kind of experienced or have thought of and want to touch on here is when you have this unit mounted, it changes the way you shoot your rifle. You're going to be what they call heads-up shooting. You're obviously not going to be looking through your eyepiece anymore. You're going to be staring at this screen, so you got to hold the rifle securely to your shoulder, yet you got to watch your clearances here with the camera that it doesn't contact your face. This becomes extremely important if you're using a high caliber rifle. I did mount this on a 30-06 just to see if it was going to be able to take that heavy of a recoil. The camera survived, but like I said, you do have to be mindful of where this camera is in relation to your face when you're using a high recoil rifle. If you're using this system on a rimfire rifle or low recoil rifle like I have it on here, it will be absolutely no trouble. You don't have to worry about it. It's simply when you're using high recoil rifles. So this unit was very versatile. I was actually able to mount this onto a crossbow scope. It worked great for that. I obviously have it on a rimfire rifle here, a 22 caliber. I also put it on that high recoil 30-06 just to make sure the camera was going to be able to take it. You can use this in a daytime recorder. You can use it for nighttime shooting. It turns your regular daytime scope into a night vision scope with this system. That is a great feature. Very neat. You can document your memories by using this camera. You can sight in your rifle and see your point of impact by going back and looking at the video. Many different options and ways to use this. I found it very useful, and I think it's a good product. So I want to thank you for taking the time to watch my review of the Beskarter night vision system. If you have comments or questions, please put them down in the comments section. I love hearing from you, and if you have a question, I'll do my best to get an answer for you. If you're interested in this product, I'm going to put a link down in the description. Simply select See More, go down there in the description. There's lots of information down there. There'll be a link to this night vision system down there so you can check it out and find out more information. As always, I want to thank you for watching. We will see you on the next video.